The directivity in a receiving antenna. A1 only. B1 and 2 only. C1, 2 and 3. D2 and 3 only. The correct answer is 1, 2 and 3. The bunching action which occurs in multicavity Klystron amplifier can be represented by Applegate diagram. A true. B false. C. D. The correct answer is true. The cutoff wavelength in circular waveguide. A guide diameter. B square of guide diameter. C cube of guide diameter. D square root of guide diameter. The correct answer is guide diameter. In Reflex Klystron oscillator, the focusing electrode is at a high potential. A true. B false. C. D. The correct answer is false. Consider the following statements. A all. B1 and 2 only. C1, 2 and 3. D1, 2 and 4. The correct answer is 1 and 2 only. In high-frequency circuits, impedance matching can be done by A1, 2 and 3. B1 and 2 only. C1 and 3 only. D2 and 3 only. The correct answer is 1, 2 and 3. The directive gain of a transmitting antenna is proportional to A its cross-sectional area. B square of cross-sectional area. C square root of cross-sectional area. D cube root of cross-sectional area. The correct answer is its cross-sectional area. In a loss line RLZ0, then A reflection coefficient is 0. B reflection coefficient is. C reflection coefficient is negative. D reflection coefficient is positive. The correct answer is reflection coefficient is negative. If a line having Z0 300 W is open circuited at far end, VSWR is A0, B1, C, D2. The correct answer is if F is the frequency of electromagnetic wave, Fc is cutoff frequency, then in a rectangular waveguide, A attenuation is low when FFC. B attenuation is low when FFC. C attenuation is high when FFC. D either B or C. The correct answer is attenuation is low when FFC. A magnetron has a cylindrical cathode surrounded by an anode structure having cavities opening into interaction space by means of slots. A true. B false. C. D. The correct answer is true. The correct sequence of parts in Klystron amplifier are A anode catcher cavity cathode buncher cavity. B cathode buncher cavity catcher cavity cavity. C anode buncher cavity catcher cavity cathode. D cathode catcher cavity anode buncher cavity. The correct answer is cathode buncher cavity catcher cavity cavity. A transmission line has Z0 300 and ZL 300 J300 ohm. The transmission coefficient is A 1.265 18.43. B 1.0110. C 1.14 66.68. D 1.09 66.68. The correct answer is 1.265 18.43. In a reflex Klystron oscillator, repeller electrode is at A low positive potential. B high positive potential. C negative potential. D zero potential. The correct answer is negative potential. A quarter wave line short-circuited at load end behaves as A an inductance, B an inductance and capacitance in series, C a capacitance, D an inductance and capacitance in parallel. The correct answer is an inductance and capacitance in parallel. A 75J 50 ohm load is connected to a coaxial of Z0 75 ohm at 10 GHz. The best method of matching is to connect A. an inductance at load, B. a short-circuited stub at load, C. a short-circuited stub at specific distance from load, D. a capacitance at specific distance from load. The correct answer is a short-circuited stub at specific distance from load. The width of a radio beam from a 1 m diameter parabolic antenna at 1 GHz is about A. 100, B. 50, C. 5, D. 2. The correct answer is 50. Which one of the following is transferred locking electron device? C. antenna, A. Barrett diode, B. impedance diode, C. gun diode, D. step recovery diode. The correct answer is gun diode. A magnetron requires an external magnetic field with flux lines parallel to axis of cathode. A. true, B. false, C. D. The correct answer is true. When a line short-circuited at far end, the minimum voltage occurs at A. far end, B. source end, C. midway between source and far end, D. none of the above. The correct answer is far end. In a TWT, the axial component of electric field advances along the tube A. at a velocity that is almost equal to speed of light, B. at a velocity that is a small fraction of speed of light, C. at a velocity that is about 50 of speed of light, D. at a velocity that may be even more than speed of light. The correct answer is at a velocity that is a small fraction of speed of light. If other parameters are constant, transmission loss at 5 GHz as compared to that at 0.5 GHz is A. 20 dB more, B. 20 dB less, C. 700 dB more, D. 100 dB less. The correct answer is 20 dB more. For a circular waveguide, A. cutoff frequency for TE10 and TE01 modes are same, B. cutoff frequency for TE10 and TE01 modes are different, C. cutoff frequency for TE10 mode twice the cutoff frequency for TE20 mode, D. cutoff frequency for TE10 mode half the cutoff frequency for TE20 mode. The correct answer is cutoff frequency for TE10 and TE01 modes are same. In the given figure, the reflected voltage wave after first reflection is A. 18V, B. 18V, C. 30V, D. 30V. The correct answer is 18V. The magnitudes of OC and SC input impedances of a transmission line N 125. The characteristic impedance is A. 25, B. 50, C. 75, D. 100. The correct answer is 50. A lossless line is terminated in a circular lines are E lines. A. SWR 0, B. SWE 0, C. SWR is finite, D. SWR. The correct answer is SWR is finite. Which of the following terminations makes the input impedance of a line equal to characteristic impedance Z0? A. line open circuited at far end, B. line terminated in Z0, C. line short circuited at far end, D. line terminated in inductance. The correct answer is line terminated in Z0. In microwave system, the function of mode filter is A. to suppress modes with lower cutoff frequencies, B. to suppress modes with higher cutoff frequencies, C. to change mode of wave transmission, D. both B and C. The correct answer is both B and C. The total field developed by an antenna array at a distant point is A phasor sum of fields produced by individual antennas of the array. B. Algebraic sum of fields produced by individual antennas of the array. C. Either A or B depending on type of array. D. Neither A nor B. The correct answer is phasor sum of fields produced by individual antennas of the array. High-speed logic circuits use A. Pulses with very small width. B. Pulses with very large width. C. Pulses whose width is neither small nor large. D. Either B or C. The correct answer is pulses with very small width. To couple a coaxial line to a parallel wire line, it is best to use A. Slotted line. B. Balun. C. Directional coupler. D. Ford transformer. The correct answer is balun. A balun should have A. Low SWR at both ports. B. High SWR at both ports. C. High SWR at input port and low SWR at output port. D. Low SWR at input port and high SWR at output. The correct answer is low SWR at both ports. In mode filter of the given figure, which of the following modes is unaffected? A. TE01. B. TE10. C. TE11. D. All trademark. The correct answer is TE01. The directive gain of a transmitting antenna is A. Proportional to wavelength. B. Inversely proportional to wavelength. C. Proportional to square of wavelength. D. Inversely proportional to square of wavelength. The correct answer is inversely proportional to square of wavelength. A duplexer is used to A. Couple two antennas to a transmitter. B. Isolate the antenna from the local oscillator. C. Prevent interference between two antennas connected to receiver. D. Use an antenna for reception or transmission without interference. The correct answer is use an antenna for reception or transmission without interference. A branched duplexer requires A. TR tubes. B. ATR tube. C. Both TR and ATR tube. D. None of the above. The correct answer is both TR and ATR tube. In a backward wave oscillator, the wave A. traveling along the line winds itself back and forth. B. progresses only in forward direction. C. progresses only in backward direction. D. Either A or C. The correct answer is traveling along the line winds itself back and forth. A coaxial line has L500 nHm and C50 pfm. The characteristic impedance is A. 500. B. 250. C. 100. D. 50. The correct answer is 100. The main feature of a parametric amplifier is A. low noise. B. very high gain. C. broad bandwidth. D. both B and C. The correct answer is broad bandwidth. In a vacuum tube, the transit time of electron between cathode and anode is important at A. low frequencies. B. high frequencies. C. both A and B. D. frequencies which are neither very low nor very high. The correct answer is high frequencies.